That's the way to do it. And we're here.
Hello.
Hello.
La la la.
Good evening,
Hi,
ladies
all.
and gentlemen.
Welcome. It is Wednesday night. It is Wednesday, right?
It is Wednesday.
Okay. If
Last
the
I
days
checked.
blurred together. Wednesday night, generational change. I'm Jen.
I'm Peter. And we are, well, I'm just a bystander. You're very excited about this.
No, you're not just a bystander. I mean, this is not, look, this is where we are now in the world, is that we can finally be out and be proud. That's how I feel.
So the Munchkins are coming out from the what were their houses called again? What were the Munchkin houses called?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about in The Wizard of Oz. The Munchkins lived in
Munchkin Land.
Yeah, no, but they lived
Munchkin
in like these
Land.
houses.
No, it was
All
just
right.
Munchkin Land. The house landed on the witch.
That's true. That is true. And of course, we're still trying to make these things legal in the United States, which of course they're not. But
well, they're not
we're
here.
Trying our best.
They're not here.
But I think we're getting to the point now where there is just people just don't care anymore. Like,
no,
live and let live.
Well, but this is the problem, right? You get the people that obviously the people on the left agree, and then all the civil libertarians agree, and all the people that for the most part agree that everything should just live and let live. But the way that it's going to be controlled and legalized is going to be solely based on the profiteering of the oligarchs. So that is dictating the how and the when. Like, that's been what the controlling thing is. It has nothing really to do with, whether or not the powers that be agree whether or not it should be legal. It's how can the biggest companies profit off of it the most, squash the little people with it, and have complete control of the industry. That's what I think. That's the holdup. They got to get all their ducks in a row to do that,
Yeah, they do. And of course, it really just comes down to one of the reasons why there is a lot of crossover on civil liberty issues pertaining to things like cannabis legalization with progressives and libertarians, is that we do not want the government on our back. There is no reason for them to be there. People have the right to make their decisions, but of course we all know why. Things like cannabis and different types of psychedelics, particularly mushrooms, are not legal.
We know why.
Most people don't care.
It's a
big alcohol and big pharma,
pharma,
and that's it.
Yeah.
They have profit to be had, and they fund our corrupt government to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, and they do it because it's good investment.
Well, they'd rather everybody be sort of on the teat of their product, right? And if you allow for a product that essentially can be cultivated by regular people and can come from the earth and just be available for people, and you can't have this huge profit margin on it, then they're not going to want that. That's not something that's good for them. They're going to rake every last dollar out of us as this becomes more and more legal.
Well, the more and more people come together and recognize that we have a lot of things in common when it comes to these core issues, the more I think we're going to be able to accomplish. So why don't we introduce who is coming on and tell the crowd about Canadelic and what that was all about, especially supporting small business entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know we spent a couple of days down at Canadelic a couple weeks ago, and we did some streaming from there, and then we talked about it afterwards. But we're going to bring on a few of the people that I met down there, and this is, it's sort of like combining, it's the cross-pollination of my love of cannabis and my love of small business together into one little thing. So that's why I like it so much. And I feel like the more we build networks with people, we find common ground. It just helps us all. That's my thoughts.
Well, you met a lot of great people. And of
yes,
course,
I did.
I was able to corral a handful of them. And of course, we were able to send emails out, and they seemed pretty enthusiastic. Okay. But of course, if we're going to promote small businesses and cannabis, I mean, heck, let's do it all. Let's make it happen. So this particular group who you met, we'll go one by one.
Okay.
We'll start with Alexi, who happens to be somebody who put you on social media and was happy to promote generational change.
And I saw you guys put that up on ours, and I'll explain to her that I'm technologically really ancient and people do that stuff for me, but I did see it.
Well, anybody who's going to pay it forward for us, we are definitely going to return the favor as well. Alexi Al Natural, welcome to Generational Change.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate this. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Okay, who do we have next? I see my next door neighbor.
Mr. Smith, who
Yeah.
is the,
From Canadelic. He was at the table next
yeah.
to me. That's what I'm saying. He's my neighbor. And you had quite a little interaction there.
Let's not talk too much about what I did and didn't do. That I'm not used to inhaling.
Oh my God. He's so, it's, yeah.
James Smith,
Secondhand.
welcome to Generational Change.
How's it going, guys? Hopefully my mic's working good. I decided to wear a headset because I didn't want it to echo back on speakers or anything.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Excellent. And we'll get to you in a second because you also are a podcaster and have your own influencer stuff too. So like we're gonna let everybody like get it all out there.
And the person who wore the most interesting outfit.
It wasn't. It was gorgeous. It was basically like this black, like really luxy looking tux with
everybody liked it. It was popular.
So cute. She's so cute.
Elise McRoberts,
with
the Hashinista. Welcome to Generational Change.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, I mean, come on. Look at that beauty.
Everything around you is like cannabis leaf shaped, including your dog's face. Like seriously, I'm looking at the image and all I see is cannabis leaves.
That's how we like it.
Best way.
No, it's awesome. So let's start, Alexi. Talk a little bit, guys, about what you do, your business, and promote. How you ended up at Canadelic.
All right, awesome. Hey everyone, my name is Alexi. My YouTube channel is Alexi All Natural. You can also find me on Instagram. It's crazy_blessed Lexi, but it's crazy with a K. But my kind of journey has ventured into health and wellness. I'm a personal trainer. I've been in the business for at least 10 years. And
out
just
of where?
recently,
You're where? Because you're local.
I'm out of South Florida. I am.
Okay.
I'm out of South Florida. I'm actually located in Palm Beach County, if anyone knows where that's at. But I do travel. So I've been to events in Orlando. I've been to events in the Canadelic was actually in Miami. Quick story. I started working as a host MC for a women's event that's called Pretty High Club. And I actually started hostessing the event. So I'm their MC. I kind of get everyone together. We do rolling contests, smoking contests, but it is a ladies only event. We've actually only had one co-ed event. And within that event, I actually met these two young ladies that have an app. It's called the Highly Connected app. Everyone should be able to download it. It talks about all 420 events all out throughout the US. And that's actually how I found out about Canadelic. So I signed up through the event to be like an influencer.
Yeah. I have to remember that.
The Highly Connected app. They're called the THC.
You're gonna make me grab a pen.
Yeah. It's an awesome app. They have events all over the place. So Colorado, Arizona, Georgia, all over the place. And that's how I found out about Canadelic. They were actually hostessing. They did some of the panels. They were on some of their speaking events. And I signed up to be the influencer. So when I went on Thursday, the first day, Influencers Row was kind of dead. I think a lot of people were doing the same.
It was. You're looking at it right here, and one other table for one of the days.
I got there early, and I noticed no one was at the table, so I just kind of walked around. I started talking to people. I started going to different tables, finding out what everyone was up to and what they were doing, and then I ended up going back to the event on Saturday, and that's when I met you, and I did a handful of different interviews to get some context, to put the information out there for people, because I love where the industry is going. But I do agree with you and the changes that are being made, that it is a little bit money hungry. And never really made sense to me on how our taxing system works when I have and I do grow it at home. So it's kind of like, where is the industry really going, and how can people like you and I get involved without it reaching the higher ups, and we no longer have access and things like that. So it was really, really nice to go to Canadelic and meet a lot of people in the industry that are starting from the ground up and really wanting to get like in the bootstraps and become the next, the neighbor, the small business, the people that are actually trying to distribute it to other people that aren't able to maybe own a dispensary or have a grow house or anything like that. Just kind of really get involved. So that's kind of how I ended up there.
That's really cool. And Elise, talk a little bit about, because you're out in California, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So completely different experience to what we have. Cause I know James also is in Florida. You're up, not in this, you're in the middle of the state, but so the three of us are in Florida, and it's just a completely different business model, if you will, experience for people.
Taxation.
Talk a little bit, Elise, like what you've dealt with out there in California in terms of like regulation and business stuff, anything that would just be sort of like insightful for a place like here where we don't have recreational yet.
Yeah. Well, so I've been working in the California license industry since its inception. And I even worked in the legacy and traditional market before that. And what we're dealing with in California right now is pretty sad. I mean, the headlines are going around calling it industry collapse and tanking you. So I think what we've learned from that, or whenever, as I'm constantly answering, why is this happening? It's because I think a few things. One, there was a lot of over prediction of the market. And so I think that's one thing to be wary of when you're, when the passing from medical to recreational is being realistic about what the new consumer market looks like, because basically everyone just expected that everyone who's drinking Chardonnay was going to become a vape pen or joint smoking consumer. And we wound up with a lot more companies, so way over competition. And then on top of that, over taxation, over regulation, our consumers who were patients first. This industry was built on the back of medical patients who became consumers that are honestly being left behind when things switch from medical to recreational, because everything suddenly becomes literally a third, if not like 40% more. And so and that's just with the taxes, right? And then because what we have is a distribution tax or a cultivation tax, distribution, excise, then of course state, local. And then on top of that, the cost of operating being, just way too high. So then a lot of patients who identify as medical, they really don't, or they're still shopping in a recreational market. And so, have a hard time affording their medicine. And thus, a lot of these people have gone back to the traditional market. So that's what we're seeing here in California. And so I think when I look at a state like Florida, which is so different because it's all verticals, it's also extremely cost prohibitive to even enter the market there. I heard it's $1 million a year license renewal fee, which funny enough, people in California say, well, I'd pay that if I was one of the only licenses like they are there in Florida. So I think the best lesson from California is don't pass an imperfect bill. Really, like I know you guys have tried to pass rec down there before and it hasn't gone through, and that's honestly a good thing, because I believe that bill was really flawed. Because what happened with ours is we thought we had it right with the bill, and they thought they had protections for small farmers and a 1 acre cap and all of these things. And then, some clever lobbyists and groups were able to find ways around that and get that kind of removed at the last minute. And that's what led to stacking licenses and a lot bigger operators. And now where we are today, I mean, some lobby groups have had success getting taxes lowered or removed. And so the fight is still going on to try to fix the broken bill. But as I can realize, it's 7 years in now. It passed in 2016. It went into effect in 2018. We're in 2023 and industry collapsing. I think, to avoid that, just really try to make sure the bill, you fine tooth comb it, read through everything in it, and stay on it until it goes through. Like, don't let any backdoor deals go on.
Yeah, I think Colorado apparently has done a pretty decent job with it. It seems to have been going pretty well there. I mean, I haven't really heard anything bad about it there, but I know that it's been disastrous in California for small business. Like, I know that. Like, it's just not even, it's just a pointless venture.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be the CMO of a company, a beautiful brand, Doc Green's, Berkeley-based. They were legacy topical makers, not even a psychoactive product, from 2009 to 2018. I came on board. I rebranded and helped relaunch this legacy brand to great success in 2019. Last year, that company won the Emerald Cup. And by the time Doc Green's won the award, they were already not operating. And that's just one story when there's so many like that. So again, this is a legacy group with over 10 years, also award winning. So its quality is not an issue. And they did have some investment. And yeah, that company just couldn't make it. I built my career working with legacy craft, small farmers and brands, and a lot of women and minority owned companies. And in my opinion, a lot of these companies do have the best products, but they are struggling to survive, honestly. So it's really tough. And as hard as it is for all the small businesses, which is really, really tough, just look at how the largest cannabis company in the whole world, Curaleaf, they couldn't even make it in California or Oregon or Colorado, right? So I think on the flip, we care and want to talk about small business, but I think when a large conglomerate like that, who has like Russian oligarch money or whatever they say, can't even survive or make it, I think that's something to be noted. And I know Florida is all MSOs, like there's really no craft or medical. Is that right? Is there even social equity or anything?
You know what? I am not even entirely sure. It's only medicinal here. I do recall
there's
the
a lot of
bill
home growers.
There are, like, it exists, but I mean, yeah, you might be able to talk better about that, James. And that's the other thing, is that as somebody whose business is also media, you're in a similar position that we are. You're not a small, your business is your media, right?
Yeah, I promote my own business, and my business model is promote everyone else's business in the process of doing my own. So I try to travel. I started out just doing shows, and that's how I got into this business, and I loved it. The energy of the people, no one's frowning, everybody's smiling, you're going around and everybody's happy. No one's upset at a cannabis festival or a concert. And that's why I'm doing this. I put everything. I sold my boat, my motorcycle. I'm selling everything, and I just bought a brand new concession trailer with 2 4x8 windows that open up. So I'm going to be traveling even more. It's going to be. I'm giving it everything I have.
You're going to be doing like streaming from the road, like
yeah. I'm also filming other people, and I'm gonna have like time lapses and things like I did at Canadelic. You see, now I had the gravity bong, and I was flipping it, and I was letting people smoke it and things like that.
How was that for you?
It was great, but it got me sick. Like dealing with that many people and like the hose and everything. Like I was sick for 3 days, and just like dealing with that many. It was a lot. I still haven't posted all that footage, but I definitely got to do a little different next time. No hose, and nobody touches it, and they just like breathe the smoke in. But I didn't really take that into the effect with the whole COVID, and you gotta be smart about it.
And
no contact.
Love it. I love what you're doing, and of course we'll promote. And I'd love to like touch base with you periodically from the road. Like
Sure.
We could definitely have a check-in with High Adventures if you come across something cool or interesting out there, and you want to like.
That's what I'm all about, new products and showing people.
Yeah.
I like to test it so you don't have to waste your money if you don't want it. And that's another one of my things that got me into it is but who else does that? Who else goes to shows and films other small businesses and promotes them, tags them, and does it for free? Just because it's also self-beneficial, and I like to show the good businesses as well. So like I was like, no one else is doing it. I've been to 6 shows, no one else is doing it. And then I was like, well, I need to start making money, so let's make a business too and sell all the things that I've been going to all these shows, and I'm seeing what everybody's not selling and I want, right? So then it's buy all that. Carry everything that some people want that nobody's carrying. So I was really a spy for myself without knowing about it, going to shows for like 6 months and doing that. I have all my own footage to see what everybody's not carrying, like bangers and things for less than $50 that make things spin and whatnot. Like I got $2,000 worth of that stuff. I went to Dab Days. Did you guys go to 710 Dab Days?
No.
Anybody?
No. And I know what you're talking about, but where we live, what is it? Is it the Delta 8?
For that stuff, no. I'm only about THC. I don't really promote the Delta 8 and stuff. The only ones that are kind of okay are like the HAC and the THCO, but I try to stay away from those because at any time they could make them illegal. And then you have products, or you're trying to promote people, and now it's illegal, and now you know what I mean. So I try to stay away from those. I just like the THC myself.
Yeah, I know, but we're not in the legal realm yet. it's just not, it's not in, you know, we're still not
You
legal.
can go on Facebook on like grower groups and stuff, and they're literally like open about it. You can literally see people posting everything like it's nothing in Florida growing groups. I mean,
Yeah, no,
it's out there and nobody cares.
More importantly, Alexi, I need to know about your lady smoking events, because when you were describing that, I'm like, wait, I live down here. I've never been invited to a lady cannabis event.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. We have another one coming in sometime April. We're trying to get it. I think the hardest thing that we're realizing is the venues. In the last 2 years, we've had a handful of events, and the struggle that we have is getting the venues and then letting the venues know what we have going on. The last event we did was actually in Orlando. It was a ranch, beautiful ranch, lots of land. It was an outside event. We had DJs, we have vendors that are in the community as well, 420 friendly. But as soon as we started doing the contest where we're like rolling contests or the smoking contest, the owner came to like watch what was going on. And being that it is a ladies event, our securities are ladies, everything that we have involved being ladies. And as soon as they saw guys and the guys security, a lot of people were like, hey, what's going on? What is this? What's happening? And we had to kind of let him know, like, he knew when we signed all the paperwork and what was going on, but I think seeing it, it was hard for him to be like, is this something that I want my venue being connected to? And we find that a lot where it's like, we'll do the event, and then after the event, they're like, I don't know if we're going to do this again because this is still not completely legal out here.
Yeah.
So it's hard to find those, but we've had so much traction. We have a lot of women supporting women kind of thing. And I think because it is a ladies only event, as women, we feel a lot more comfortable going and hanging out and supporting the venues and supporting the vendors and doing those things. Because I've been to a handful of just 420 events in general, and when it is kind of male dominated, it's a little bit more intimidating. It's a lot more competition. It's crazy. Like, I still try to wrap my head around the fact that they have like pounds of different kind of strains on the table, and you're like, where are we living? How is this even possible? But when it's co-ed, we get a lot of that, like machismo, men wanting to overpower others. When it's women, it's just kind of super laid back. So we do have another one coming up in April. You'll probably see me promote it. I'll definitely invite you to it and let you know. But I think the hardest thing that we're trying to get over right now is either purchasing a venue for ourselves or finding a venue that will consistently want to work with us and are okay with us like smoking and dabbing and having vendors and doing performances and having all these things that are 420 friendly. Because it's like you said, every 420 event I go to, people are in a good mood. Everyone wants to network. Everyone wants to socialize. No one is kind of like overpowering or anything like that, where I'm not a big drinker. I like to smoke more. So when I go to those kind of events where there's like open bars, you know, people get a little crazy is what I like to call it. They get a little extra loose. Yeah, they get a little, you know, a little more in there.
For people that aren't drinking, it's kind of, you know,
calm down. You know, I feel like, well, relax. Where I'm super laid back. I like my smoking events. We have all kinds of things. We've had different contests, different vendors, and it's really nice to see just kind of the community come together. And I think that's what a lot of these events are allowing people to kind of open their minds up to, is like, oh, this is something normal now. I remember the first time I went to Colorado, being that it was recreational. I think growing up in my generation, even though we would smoke outside, it's kind of like you're always looking over your shoulder, or you're smoking in the alley or in someone's staircase. Where now, the first time I went to Colorado, I was like at a park. And there were people smoking joints and people talking, and you're kind of like, is this okay? You know, I think we're still in that. It's opening up to people. It's showing the community that, like, hey, this is better than a cigarette. Like, I grew up with my mom smoking cigarettes and I hated it.
That's toxic shit, man.
I hated her smoking cigarettes, but then I grew up in the generation where my mom and my uncle and my cousins were in their room or in the basement smoking, and they would keep the kids away. Where now I interviewed 2 ladies that have a company called Pot Smoking Moms, and same thing. They have a podcast, a YouTube, and they talk about what it's like raising children and not shaming them for wanting to smoke weed or hit a bowl or take a dab, and being able to just deal with their kids or with their community at a level head, you know. So it's definitely opening up, and it's nice to see a lot of these different events coming together and people kind of like what James said. I just wanted to go and show people, hey, this is what's happening, because I think we still have that stigma in the community of like, is that even okay to be doing?
Yeah. I think it's important to take a stand on that. That's always where I've been.
Happens a lot.
That's who it is who I am. It is just the way it is, you know.
I have
And that's
events I
kind of
can't even have glass out.
Yeah, and that's kind of the basis of like Alexi all natural. Like, I'm against pharmaceuticals. I'm against over the counters. Even as a teenager, I didn't like taking Tylenol and Midol and all these things.
Yeah.
Where I started growing up and I was like, you know, let me hit a joint. I feel better. My headache goes away. I can sleep better. As a woman, I don't get cramps. Like, it's all these different things, and it's the natural way. I'm big on like, why can't we have micro dosing mushrooms? Why can't I smoke a joint before doing a test or going somewhere and making it calm my nerves? Where people are quick to be like, oh, just pop an Adderall, pop this, pop that. And it's like, you don't understand the chemical imbalances there.
Is that a rhetorical question?
Yeah,
It's
right.
pretty obvious why that's the case. Alexi could probably speak to this because there has been legalization efforts made in California. But we all know that this is where the convergence of progressives and libertarians come together very strongly. We do not want the government involved in the decisions that we make for ourselves. In addition to that, the government wants monopolization because that's what big industry wants. You know, I saw that there was a bill that they tried to pass in Ohio a number of years ago, but it would have basically limited it to, I think, like 10 companies in the entire state that would have been able to distribute cannabis. And so to me, that's just an example of if home grow is not included, then it's a shit bill and you do not pass it. But we all know why that's the case, because, again, it's the same reason why big alcohol and big pharma have such a stronghold on Capitol Hill. They spend countless amounts of money at the federal and state level to ensure that we don't have the ability to make these decisions for ourselves. If you're smoking cannabis, chances are you're not popping pills, you're not drinking alcohol, you're not in the hospital, you are not dependent on a multitude of other for-profit industries that if you were doing these other things, you would be. If you're on cannabis, chances are you're a lot less stressed, you're probably a lot more happy. You know, you're not allowed to be happy in this world.
Yeah. And I have a military background. So coming out of the military as a military veteran, you go through out processing and you go through the medical, and it's so quick to be, they want to prescribe us with PTSD and they want to give us all these downers and they want to pump us with all these pills. And it's like, no wonder why we have issues. You guys just keep pushing these things down our throat. Where I met a few entrepreneurs out there that were doing like small business retreats for veterans. One gentleman has a nonprofit where he sells things, but he helps, from the profits, he helps veterans get their free medical card. And that is such a benefit because it's still a stigma in the military. I mean, not for nothing. You get, when I was in the military, you get drug tested for THC and you're booted. You're a bad soldier. You're out of here. When most of my NCOs were either alcoholics or they were pumped up on some sort of medication, and they were the ones stepping out of line, like getting in trouble. And I was like a good soldier. And like, I just want to smoke a joint. And I get drug tested and they're like, no, this is terrible. You need to go. And it's like, now you can get a pass for it. So things are definitely changing, but it is scary to think of the government getting involved, big pharma getting involved. Cause like you mentioned earlier, Delta 8, you know, what is that really? And even going to the medical dispensaries, I'm like, you don't know where that comes from.
Elise,
do
you know it?
Who's growing
Elise,
that?
do you know what is, will you explain it? Do you have the explanation? What is Delta 8?
I do. And I mean, it's perfect for Alexi on natural, because why you want to stay away from Delta 8 or THCO or any of these synthetics is because that's what they are. They're synthetics. Yep. And we like to stick to whole plant medicine and, you know, as true to the plant as possible. And what Delta 8 is that gets it through this loophole is they take hemp CBD isolate and use some sort of chemical process. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And from what I hear,
and
that aren't great or clean, and convert it to Delta 8, which will then give you somewhat psychoactive effects. But it's not tested. It's not regulated. And I just stay away from all of the synthetics is my general rule. I know that's a bummer for people who want to feel the effects of cannabis, but I would just, you know, I don't know if I can get in trouble for saying this, but find the traditional market, find the home grower, find the hobbyist, and get your medicine through that way. And like in a collective model, if you can, or just anything really is better than I think taking a synthetic from a smoke shop. I gotta
That's
say.
right.
There
I get a
was a
headache from
synthetic there was a synthetic years ago that was going around when I was in the
Salvia,
military,
right?
because something like that. When I was in the military, it was going around a lot because you were able to smoke it, but the risk was like you went crazy. I had like 2 battle buddies of mine that would smoke it regular because they
Oh,
were
that
smokers.
spice.
Oh,
There you
spice.
go, spice.
Yeah, yeah,
And
spice.
they
Yeah.
literally had to be Baker acted because it like twigged them a little bit and they like
Yep.
went wild. And I'm like, let me just pick from my plant in my backyard because that sounds
right.
scary to me. That sounds scary to me.
Yeah, I'm always, and you know, for me, even with product, that's why I'm just a flower girl. Like, that is it. Like, I don't need you to process it in any way. You know what I mean? Just let it dry nicely, clip it, whatever. Like, I don't need any other stuff mixed with it.
Well, and that's why for Hashinista, celebration of cannabis and fashion, but specifically hash, and hash being the solventless concentrate. And I'm very passionate about that because what solventless hash is, live rosin, is, you know, it's just the flower fresh frozen at peak time at harvest, and then made into ice water hash, and then that ice water hash pressed into rosin using minimal heat and pressure, and then that beautiful golden substance cures in about 55 degrees or a fridge if for cold cure for a different amount of time. And it's a beautiful expression of the plant. It, you know, has cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, and it's not needed, or in my opinion, the people who enjoy solventless, it's not about getting high, right, or getting so blasted off of it. It's about enjoying that flavor and that experience. And it's a true connoisseur product, even though I hate to use the word product. I think it's more like, again, still a medicine, but it's a really beautiful way to experience the plant, and that highly recommend that.
How do I get that?
I hear Florida does have a pretty good traditional market, so I would just find the live rosin producers in the area. Look for my fellow Hashinistas, I guess.
It's not as easy to come by as you would think. You know what I mean? And all
Especially
the
out
products
here.
are like like anything that you easily find is Delta 8 for sure.
Yeah. I can connect you to somebody. I think there's like a kind of an underground scene there, because I heard there was a cool party there, Terp Basel, last year, and that was kind of one of my partners out here, the Terp Hogs, and they do amazing genetics, flower and hash collabs. So
it's still very hard. A lot of our events are underground for that reason. You have to know someone that knows someone to know, or to be involved, because it's that gray, it's that middle gray area where it's like we can promote it and we can be involved in it, but it's still very like, I've been to a few events that have been shut down. I've in the middle of everyone just kind of hanging out, and the police are like, all right, y'all gotta get up out of here. Like this isn't happening here, you know? So it's still very,
Was it Psychedelic Wilds? Like that, everything was going on that trade.
Oh, it was crazy.
I was like blown away. I was literally right across from a full-blown dab bar. I mean, that I saw. I mean, it seemed like there was everything there. But
there was
typical Florida experience here.
No, but I think technically, if somebody were to ask, it was all the version of what's okay, right? But the reality is that from a prosecutorial level, nobody gives a shit, and nobody's prosecuting that here anymore. Right? Like we have certain, state attorneys have flat out said, they don't care anymore.
That's right.
So even though it's not recreational, like we can't go get it, it's not what they're trying to do.
Yeah, for me,
you know who's out there? I just remembered 710 Labs exists in Florida. So if you have a friend with a medical card, you could get some 710 Labs live rosin. And I would recommend dabbing that.
Okay, yeah, my husband has a card.
There you go. All right.
Okay. See?
And I want to come back down there. I had a really great experience in Miami, and meeting people like yourself, and just the vibes overall at Cannadelic and the community. So yeah, please keep me in your loop. Invite me to the ladies' party, and I can come down and make it a collab. You know. So.
Remind me where you are in California.
I'm in Marin County in Mill Valley.
Oh my God, that's so pretty.
It's pretty nice. And you know what? I felt bad that I started off kind of like negative with the state of the industry. And I actually just got home from a new store opening, this beautiful dispensary, Soulful, and they support, you know, small farms and sun-grown and regenerative practices. And it was a beautiful little party, and you know, a new dispensary in the city with lots of community there. And so even while things are tough, you know, we're still fighting the good fight, and the good people who have always been passionate about the plant, and it's not even about money, you know, are still here. And so I want to make sure I throw that out there and share that side too, because I am very grateful to be in the California industry. There's so much knowledge and legacy and history here, and of course quality and amazing businesses and languages and dispensaries and everything. So it's just, yeah, we're going through it, you know, but we will continue to blaze through it and come out stronger.
You know, it's really good.
Where does California stand on home grow? Forgive me for not remembering all the full details of the bill that passed.
Yeah, any adult can have 6 plants, and then if you want more, you just have to have a medical card, and that's obviously very easy to have. So yeah.
Well,
I have always had plants in my backyard, and Marin County can sometimes be seen as conservative. Like, they actually don't allow retail here. It's delivery only. And they also don't allow consumption lounges yet. That being said, it's so accepted. And when you were talking about parenting and consumption earlier, I was thinking how, like, in California, it's very much a part of the culture. I just feel like I know so many parents who are very open about it with their kids, or would rather their kids smoke or even microdose or experiment with psychedelics than alcohol. I'm originally from Chicago, and it wasn't like that where I grew up. And I moved here over 10 years ago so I could be a patient and not a criminal. And then now Illinois is legal. So it's pretty cool to see that. But Illinois, on the flip, does not allow for home grow. And so they're fighting that fight there to change it. So yeah, I'm super grateful
every state
here.
Again, it's all about big industry. And I don't even get high. I just, you know, for me, smoking is about relaxing and just being mellow. And especially if you have any type of, you know, if you're going through any type of bout of anxiety, it can make all the difference in the world. And you definitely, I mean, I've never been a drinker. And even if I do drink, well, they don't know that.
Everybody knows.
No, that's, but it's you know, again, if you're going to allow one, you allow the other. It's really just about what is being funded, you know, at the state and the federal level. And that's why they try to stop, you know, you guys from doing what you're doing, which is just providing service that most people want these days. So as far as I'm concerned, it should be allowed.
I do. I definitely want that service.
Big dumb animal. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And Elise, I want to tell you, so I've been using that serum you gave me. It's so nice. It smells so good. Like, I sit there and I rub it and do the whole thing, and it smells so good.
It's amazing.
I very much appreciate it.
He's talking about Green Bee Botanicals, which is a woman-owned skincare company in San Francisco, and they formulate amazing products using THC, CBD, other plant-based ingredients. And one of the founders actually has a background in biotech, so they're truly effective. And they source sun-grown flower from a regenerative farm, so it's just perfect all around. It.
No, it's delicious.
Check them out.
So, and James, let me ask you, when you were walking around and checking out all the products, what did you find was the coolest thing there? Like, I mean, you know, for me, like I said, I'm old school. I'm flower. The guy brings it to my house. I don't even know. I'm sure it's some hybrid of something. I'm like, you know, I'm like old school. But like, talk about what you saw there that you thought would be like worth somebody like me.
Which one, Canadelic?
Yeah, like what was the coolest stuff that you saw there?
I mean, I gotta say, man, some of the Culture Clothing Club stuff, like it took me a minute to find them. They made this shirt even for Canadelic Miami. I have some of their other shirts in some of my videos, but they make all kinds of like crazy designs, and I'm hoping to get my own styles designed from them. But it's called Culture Clothing Club with a K, then a C. But their stuff, like no one else has it printed like this. Everyone else is ironing stuff on and not subliminal dye and stuff. So some of their designs are crazy. But there was a lot of Bluntsies was another one. They make all these cool little copper things. They were near us. They were right there. They had so
Yeah,
many
the
cool.
little holders, the
Yeah,
finger
yeah.
holders that you could have your
They were
road and
amazing.
use your fingers at the same time.
Did you see any of the art people that were in the back left corner on that side? I
bought
haven't
them.
posted any of that yet, but I videoed all that, and that's coming. I've just been so busy with these giveaways, but I have all the footage of all that. So whoever couldn't make it and showing their cards, so everyone will be able to get their information. I have that coming up as well. So
Yeah, I
there
love
was a
that.
lot of stuff.
Those guys were amazing. I actually bought a piece. I bought a sign
you?
print from one of the artists back there. Elise, did you get a chance to go back there and look at some of that stuff that was like from local Miami people?
I didn't get a chance to like really dive in and shop. I just walked past it and was like, oh, that looks awesome. I was holding down my booth and I didn't have much freedom.
No. It's all cool. So, and Alexi, tell me about what your products are, what you're promoting, like, and where can we support?
So I'm actually working on rebranding and building my website again, but I do dabble in the health and wellness realm. So I do more herbal supplements, which is kind of tied into the all natural.
It's not cannabis.
No,
okay.
Unfortunately, but I do real estate, and I know I mentioned it to you. I'm waiting for them to pass the bill so we can start buying some green land, because I would love to have a farm or some sort of like grow house or something out here in Florida, which unfortunately we get everything shipped to us. So I don't think any of these dispensaries are actually growing their own stuff yet. But I do dabble in herbal medicine, health and wellness. Right now, it's mainly like sea moss, ashwagandha, saparilla, things like that, for teas and tinctures. But I also am venturing into like public speaking, hosting, and emceeing, which is why I want to get more involved in the 420 community, because I feel like a lot of people need to be just better educated on it, that are better educated on the natural health and wellness realm versus, I call it the white coat syndrome. Everyone wants to go see a doctor and wants to be prescribed and wants to go through treatment and all these things, where it's like, I feel like the holistic realm isn't getting as much, I guess, screen time. It's all like still foo-foo when we talk about holistic health, how your mind controls your body. And if you have better connection with the two, you can actually overcome some diseases and some medical issues and things like that. But you can find most of my content on my Instagram right now, which is going to be crazy_blessed. Like I mentioned, that's going to be KRAZII_blessed Lexi. I'm actually the only one. So I'm hoping that I think Facebook is dropping that verification. I'm hoping they drop that soon so I can finally verify myself, because every time I look it up, I'm literally the only one that pops up. So that's really nice. Other than that, you're definitely going to see me out and about, because I'm going to be dropping a lot more content in the like health and wellness realm. Yes, thank you for dropping it in the chat for anyone who wants to add me. And
especially anybody local. Yeah, for sure.
You can also have the Pretty High Club. That's going to be all ladies only events. We are looking to travel. So at California, Georgia, Atlanta, New York, if there are any venues that would love to host us, we would love to put an event together and start getting the word out there to kind of get more women involved in the industry. And that's really all I'm working on right now. I'm just trying to get the brand out there, rebranding, get everyone more educated on health and wellness. And I think a healthy mind just brings more wealth into your life as well. So that's where I stand with that.
No, it's awesome.
Great.
Heck yeah. I am your target market. Everything you were saying, I'm like, I got it.
It blows my mind. The last event that we had, the last event we had, it was so nice because we get a lot of women, but it's nice to see the diversity of women. We had a family come in, and it was like the daughter, the mom, and then the grandmother. And it was funny to me because the grandmother came. She was not missing the event. She came in a wheelchair. So they're like wheeling her up to the front door. And I was like, okay, look at you. She's like, I'm not missing it for nothing. I said, I appreciate that, Mom. So it was nice to see. It's just nice to see the diversity. Some people come with their friends, their girlfriends, their partners, whatever. We're very open to the community, but it is just so women can feel more comfortable supporting each other and being more involved. We will probably do like an annual co-ed event. But right now we're just trying to get the word out there and get more involved in the industry and kind of grow, honestly.
It is very male dominated. And even from a consumer standpoint. So Elise, you know the story where I met, and you're going to have to remind me her name, the artist that does the gold dip jewelry, Chelsea.
Yeah. Chelsea. Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea. So, right. So
Yeah.
for guys who don't know, I went to the Astor Club when I was in New York, which was just really cool experience, except, yeah, it's all guys. And there's like one other girl, maybe one other woman, one other, whatever. It was mostly men. And so that is why she stood out so much. So I met this artist there. Her name was Chelsea, and she does cannabis art. She does. Are you wearing any of her stuff? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she does like cannabis. They're dipped leaves. They're dipped.
Yeah, I saw her there too. Yeah.
And she does gold dip buds, and her jewelry is beautiful. But she was this coolest looking chick sitting in the Astor Club. Okay, and granted, she was the only other chick sitting in the Astor Club. And so yeah, I appreciate the idea of having a female event for that, like because it is mostly men. And
well, but I kind of disagree. I mean, they're women, they're out there. It's just
now, we're definitely picking it up more.
Like bring everyone together, and you're so wise to be doing events. I mean, we're all these years in, and events are still as necessary as ever. And I feel like even in California, a lot of people still don't know where to start with cannabis. A lot of people are still like, what's CBD going to do to me? So there's opportunity for all types of events. I'm going to an event Saturday that's hosted. It's like a mom's event, and I don't even have kids, but I'm going because she invited me. And it's like, that's, you show up to support each other. And I feel we have a lot going on out here. And I feel like in your areas, they're there too. So just keep hosting and bringing everyone together,
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think it's important that small business owners, especially in the cannabis field, the psychedelic field, people need to be networking, because in the world of politics that we're living in today, the tribalism is just so ridiculous. It doesn't get anything done. You're going to have disagreements on a lot of different issues, but when it comes to civil liberties, age, the environment, healthcare, there is an exceptional amount of crossover with most people. They agree, and mostly in principle, that these things should be either accessible or an outright thing for society.
Oh, I think everybody should have cannabis.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, probably some of the biggest wound up people that don't think you should have anything. It's like, if they could be tricked into eating a pop brownie or something like that, it'll probably open up their.
I know people that I've wanted to strap down and put one of those things from like the airplane mask over their face and just like force feed them.
But don't get me wrong, it's like anything in society. The people that are telling you that you can't have something, they're generally the type of people that are they're not happy in their own lives. So they basically just want to take it out on everybody else.
Who are we hurting, right?
Yeah.
Well, the potheads have always been malaligned.
Well, there's a big difference, I think, in the perception of somebody who happens to, let's say, be a hippie and just wants to smoke and lounge all day.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine if you want to. Hey, listen, you served our country. You can do whatever the hell you want, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
I appreciate that.
For anyone,
what is your point about that?
My point is that a significant portion of this population, overwhelmingly, uses cannabis and functions completely normal, like everybody else does. Has a job, does what they have to do. And
I take it for pain.
The outlet to having a less, there's no such thing as a stress-free life, but a less stressed life. Having the access to cannabis and the fact that there are multiple health benefits associated with it. There is no reason for this not to be legalized and legalized properly, because we all know that the end game is going to result in us being able to do this without any issues. What we have to do now, again, this is the whole thing about progressives and libertarians working together, is that the goal of our corrupt capitalist system that we currently have is that they want to monopolize it. They do not want individuals, individual business owners being able to succeed. They want to be able to turn this into like Marlboro, Newport, like that. They want to have, if Philip Morris had it their way, they would monopolize the whole industry. So it's on us to have these conversations and make sure that we are networking off one another, regardless of whether you're in Florida, California, or wherever, to ensure that we're aware of what the government is up to make sure that we are protecting small business entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to cannabis.
On behalf of lounging hippies, I'd like to say that we're very highly functional.
Some are, some are not.
Okay.
I've always said it. If my bills are paid and I got a roof over my head and I can feed myself, what is it to anyone if I want to smoke a joint?
Do whatever you want.
Leave me alone.
Please.
Yeah.
That's what makes America.
Us.
Wait, we're still here.
We're here.
Yeah.
Well, let's give everybody an opportunity to share what they're working on, how people can find you guys as we wind down.
Lexi just did that. Everybody, her stuff is all in the chat for her Instagram. Guys, follow that. And James, how can we follow you on the High Adventures?
Well, my Instagram is FL High Adventures, and I have a business one that's High Adventures LLC, the one that I just started, the vending business that I'm starting to actually make money. Because I do this for fun and like showing people's products, but it doesn't keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you'd like to make a few dollars. And Elise, talk about like you rep different stuff, and I know you have your own stuff. So say where can we find products? Where can we support?
Yeah, I'm up to a lot of different things in this space while also building out Hashinista. So you can find me at Elise McRoberts. It's one of my Instagrams, just my name. And you can also find me at The Hashinista, just like both in the title there. I also have websites at both of those. And I am about to, next month, we'll be judged in Barcelona for Spannabis. I will be judging the Emerald Cup solventless category. I'm building out a brand with a living legend who I won't name yet, but it's exciting. And I'm working with Green Bee Botanicals, artists like Ross Boss, High Society Collection out of Portland, and a lot of whatever else comes up here locally, as well as I'm talking to companies in Massachusetts and New York. So it's kind of just stay tuned for, hopefully I will be dropping my first collabs both in fashion and cannabis this year. And the plan is all my products will be small batch limited runs done in collaboration with ideally other small businesses that are women owned, but I will probably expand beyond women too. But right now it's been all women owned businesses. So that's been pretty cool, at least on the fashion side. And yeah, in cannabis, I've worked obviously with men over the years. So as you said, male dominated industry, right? But actually I'm being in the concentrate space. That's part of what made me launch Hashinista, is because I see concentrates and hash and dabbing as one of the last stigmatized categories of cannabis. And kind of like everyone saw edibles, it's really scary 10 years ago. And I really am on this mission to help people see the benefits of concentrates and what a beautiful experience it can be, and how it can be part of your life in a wellness way, and make the space more inviting accessible to women. And then beyond that, I do work with, like you said, the skincare brand and CBD brands and edible brands, because, I believe that there's a cannabis for everybody, and it doesn't even have to be psychoactive. So yeah, thank you for asking, and thanks for having me on, and thanks to everyone who's going to follow.
Yeah, no. And I think it's important for us all to sort of just be aware of who's in this space and know who, know who your allies are, know who are sort of like on your mission with you. So I just like to, and anytime I think of any ideas where something comes up and I think of, oh, I know so-and-so from so-and-so. And you never know where your paths cross and who comes into your life for different reasons. And when you think of somebody down the road, and, it's just really important to keep that. And James, seriously, check in on the road. It'd be totally cool.
What's your guys' next events?
Oh, I don't necessarily even have a next event.
Okay. I was just kind of figured we'd share what we have.
No,
There's one. Hold
show.
on.
Come on our show. We do
Well,
lives twice a
there is
week.
that event that's in Orlando area. That's
Yeah, we're doing the Bez Believe show April 8th. It's a big thing. The country rapper from Florida, Bez Believe, he's having a big concert release party April 8th. I'm vending that as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it'll be like pretty much a big concert music video thing. There's going to be a dog show there. There's going to be a car
dog
show,
show.
a truck show.
I might need
Yeah,
more
yeah.
details about that one too.
Yeah. I posted it on my Instagram and my Facebook as well. But we're also going to be doing, what's the other show? The Great American Biker Bash. That's in that's on the 22nd. Yeah, I think it's on the 22nd.
Of
That's
April
March
as well?
22nd. Yeah, that's in
March?
Clearwater. It's at a Harley Davidson dealership, and it's going to be like over 1,000 bikers plus other people there. At least that's what there was last year. So
I
sounds
might
like
be
need
a
info
pretty
on
big
that too
event.
because I ride my motorcycle, so I love those kind of events.
what do you call them?
What do I call what?
Motorcycles.
Donor cycles? I call them donor cycles. Don't mind me.
I would like to. I think I'm gonna have a motorcycle one day. So
They're fun.
Yeah.
I love them. You just got to be very careful of the old people out here in Florida.
The other one you guys will love is it Flow Fest in Port Charlotte, I believe, but that's April 22nd. That's from Potluck SRQ that run it. They do multiple ones a year, but it's Flow Fest. It's gonna be a
I
car show and a
personally-
cannabis
Oh,
thing.
I love those things. I personally just found out about cannabis ball. That's actually going to be
Oh,
here
really?
in Miami. That's going to be on the 6th of May. There's going to be a networking event on the 1st of March. Yeah, there's a networking event down in Wynwood on the 1st of March. So maybe I'll send you guys
Good.
that information as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
sure.
And
I'll
then
come down.
I am going to be doing the Highly Connected app. There's an event
Okay, I'm definitely looking at it.
in, oh my God, I want to say it's May as well. It's the Hemp Olympics.
Oh, yeah, I
And
heard
they're
that one.
having like a workout competition. I might join the actual competition and try to do my first like fitness workout competition. So just a heads up. If you follow my YouTube, you'll hear all about that information. But yeah, it's called the Hemp Olympics. I guess they're going to have vendors and all these different kind of things out there, but they're also going to be 420 friendly. So the Highly Connected app got me some information about that. So just a heads up, if you decide to add the app, it's a free app, but there are events and they're all over the place. So there are
Right,
some in
no, that's
California.
cool.
I think that they're having in April that I was trying to look for as well, just to maybe see if I take the
Very
trip
cool.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love to
Another
connect, support.
another show in April is Florida Cup, but it's the same day as my other show on the 22nd. So they're like
I did hear
conflicting.
about
So
that
you
one.
can choose between. I decided Flow Fest. I already paid for it to vend there, but Florida
Yeah.
Cup is a cannabis competition where all the growers in Florida, you have to
Mhm.
be from Florida, and you literally have to hold a magazine up. You got to do all of this stuff to like prove that
Mhm.
from where you are and all this stuff. And it's like I wanted to do that, but money over fame and fun, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you.
So, you got to try. But it is something for people to go see. If you guys want to go
Mhm.
see it.
You guys should all come out to NorCal, to the Bay Area,
Oh.
May 13th for the Emerald Cup Awards. It's really, in my opinion, the best event in the industry in terms of its long running, and it's just a beautiful showing of the true culture in the community. And you can experience and shop cannabis in all forms. And yeah, it'll be great.
Cup.
It'll be really fun. There'll probably
Emerald
be some
Cup, yeah.
and
I
That's all
love that.
about. Yeah, they're
That's
definitely popular.
yeah. And what else did I want to tell you guys about? Oh yeah, Spanibus. I know it's a bit soon for this year.
Cannabis.
2
Spanibus.
weeks away, but next year.
I haven't heard this. What's this? Tell me.
So in
something.
Barcelona, there every year in March, it's a 2-day conference called Spanibus, and it's kind of because it is illegal in Spain still, but they have social clubs. It's really interesting. You can, if you're a member of a private club, do whatever you want in that club, so
Right.
you can consume it,
Mm.
but you can't leave with it.
Loopholes.
And they honestly, they will like shake you down. Like I would never wear something like this on the street in Barcelona because I'd be a target for the police, and they do target
Search.
you and then search and take all your stuff and ticket you. So
Rude.
I coat that's plain and look normal, and then I get into the club. But anyways, then there's all these clubs, and they're really cool experiences. They're all unique in their own way. But the show is only 2 days, and then every day leading up to the show, there's a different party at a club, or there's the ego clash competition. There's used to be when Frenchie was alive, the Legends of Hashish. Dabadoo is an event that Mila, the hash queen, does. Yeah.
I've watched every video of Frenchie's.
Yeah.
Frenchie, man.
Frenchie's.
That's the best. So anybody that doesn't know, I have to say it. He is the best maker of hash, period, in my opinion. Frenchie Cannoli.
Yeah, and there's a documentary actually that will be released to Vimeo really soon. So if you follow me, I'll add details there. But yeah, Frenchie is an amazing treasure, and actually helped his widow, Madame Cannoli, produce the launch event for the documentary in San Francisco last year, as well as his small private memorial.
What's the date for Spanibus?
It's in March.
I believe it's 11 and 12 or 10 and 11.
Yeah, so Erie, what it was is it's basically a private cannabis event, because what Elise was saying was that because it's not legal there unless you're in a private club. So this is obviously something that's hosted privately and sounds like a whole hell of a lot of fun. That's what it is. It's basically days and days of private cannabis places hosting events.
Yeah, and you just pop around and pop into these clubs, go to these events, parties. And then the actual
sounds like a blast.
Straight 2 days, it feels more like maybe not a cannadelic, but or like in the original Emerald Cup. You know, there's the booths are like seeds and ancillary, and then it's not like legally you're not supposed to consume there.
Right.
You kind of see it. It's still like gray areas we're talking about, but yeah,
but yet all the social clubs are hosting what they're hosting during this time period. That's the point. It's sort of like, Art Basel. It isn't necessarily the convention floor where things are happening. You have to go to the other places.
Yep. Or like South by Southwest, I would say, it's like that. It's about the other things that are going on.
Elise McRoberts, Alexi, James, thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been a very enlightening and high-minded conversation.
No, and stay in touch, guys, for sure.
For sure.
Oh, look at that,
James.
Oh, look at that.
Pass the bud. Pass the bud.
Look at that. It's like
I got you.
Oh my God.
Don't let anyone ever tell you that ladies
it's not focusing on me. I got it autofocus.
Exactly. And thank you. I would love
we want flowers.
I want flowers for anything.
Hey, I hope to see you at any of those events. I always have some of me and try to smoke with everybody. I try to share the love and have people feeling better than when they showed up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Have a good night, guys.
You guys are awesome.
Much love. Stay lit.
That was an enlightening conversation.
Okay, first of all, you know what everyone sort of alludes to, this concept of just the general vibe of these types of events. And it's what you would think it would be. It's very happy, chill people. That's what it is.
Well, they're not miserable. That's
no, it's just people. It's very happy, chill people. That's the kind of people at these events. And it's just really, so it's nice. It's a nice experience. Like I can't fathom having a bad experience in a place like that with those people.
No, and it all gets back to the whole idea of why cannabis isn't legalized, because again, it's something that allows you to enhance your ability to live. Now, of course, like anything, you could abuse it, and that could
I haven't met those people.
No, they exist.
Well, I'm sure they do. And as somebody who's been partaking in that world for very, very many years, I don't know those people.
Anyway, I was trying to make a point, but what I'm saying is cannabis does a hell of a lot less damage to you than alcohol does, than pills do. And the fact that it's not fully legalized stems from the fact that Big Pharma and Big Alcohol are tremendous financial contributors to our broken economic system.
So you don't think it's because they're concerned for our health and well-being?
If they knew what type of bottom line they're making, they would know that it's, and again, even the legalization tactics that are being employed today, the way that they're doing it is to try to monopolize it. So that way you don't have individual ownership, as a libertarian or even a progressive would say would be the way it should go. If you want to grow it at home, you should be able to do that without incident. And
I've tried growing. It's not a good experience for me. I'm not good with plants. We tried in college. Shout out to my girls from sophomore year in college. We tried. We had a plant. We had a room. We had a humidifier. We had some foil. it started getting really tall. We named it Phyllis. And as time went on, Phyllis, just nothing happened. It turned out it wasn't Phyllis, it was Phil. And Phil, you can't, so
female
you have
weed?
to have female weed. Female
Ah.
weed is what buds. You can't have male weed. You don't want male weed. But, you know, it's not as simple of a thing as people think. It really isn't. Like, yeah, you could throw a bunch of seeds in, and depending on where you live, depending on certain climate, you could get lucky and some plants could grow and whatever. But turning that into actual harvest, it isn't as simple as people think it is. It really isn't. And I'm still all about home grow. And by the way, when you get home grow, what that also kind of leads to, if it's not specifically in legislation, is that, let's say, for example, we're allowed 6 plants to home grow, and I don't want to do it. I can actually give my 6 plants to someone who could grow on my behalf.
Okay.
And that person, and the way it is, I know that how California, I don't know if it's still like that, but how it used to be, is at least in places where it's medicinal, that's when you can have somebody grow on your behalf. And I think that's the concept I would like to have be with recreational, where so I don't want to grow, but I would be happy to pay for someone else to grow on my behalf.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Support small farmers. So I would allocate my 6 plants. You could allocate your 6 plants to somebody doing a small grow business and be part of that co-op if you choose to. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, that's a pretty lucid thought and a decent.
But as you notice, it's somewhat based on the collective. So
you have your book.
I have my book.
Next Wednesday, we have a guest.
No, next Monday.
No, it's Wednesday.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. March 1st.
Is that not next Monday? Are you sure? Okay, guys. So I thought it was on Monday. Good. I have a few more days. We are talking with Dr. Stephen Bezrushka, and the book is Inequality Kills Us All. And I saw this gentleman. I cannot remember exactly which show I was watching that I saw him giving an interview. He spent many years as an emergency room physician. He went to med school in this country, but he grew up in Canada. So this is someone who has not only a concept of Canadian healthcare system in comparison with our healthcare system, but actually worked the front lines in an ER and now teaches at the University of Washington. So this is someone extremely well-versed on healthcare and in a clinical sense, in an academic sense. And this book is really an examination of the overall health of a country and how we measure the health of a country, not the health of a person. What is the health of a country? And just as sort of like a preview, people, we're number 51. We're 51. Let it sink in. The United States, 51. When you look at these measures, when we're talking about, and there are things like life expectancy, infant mortality, maternal death rate, general like there's certain factors, but we'll talk about it next week. It's very interesting. We're not doing well. I know nobody on this channel will be shocked to hear that we're not doing well. And shockingly, it turns out that the best healthcare in the world might be in this country, and yet we have not good results, because what we learn, healthcare does not lead to a healthy country. What leads to an unhealthy country is inequality. And that is what is killing people in this country, not the status, not that we have really good healthcare here. It doesn't matter. That's the point. It's really interesting.
Yeah. On Monday, we may have one of our favorite regular guests. We'll see if Steve is going to join us, assuming he feels well. That, of course, is Steve Grumbine. We have a lot of interesting guests that will be coming on as we go forward. I do like the panels every once in a while. Cool. Yes.
What do you mean? Which kind of panels?
Well, just anything.
Of course. No, it's always good. It's just, we need to just make sure that everybody, it's hard for me when there's a lot of people.
We have one person make an appearance.
What am I preaching on? What am I preaching on? I don't know that I have anything. What's been what do you want to talk about that's been going on? Like, I can't get anything but East Palestine going right now in my head. I'm like,
I just wanted to come on and remind everybody that I
gross.
made a really incredible, important appearance in East Palestine today.
It's Palestine.
No, I say Palestine because I love Palestine. They're good people there. And in East Palestine, they're the best people. I came there today to let everyone know that we are going to make America great again
Again,
when I get into the White
I
House.
honestly, in
24.
all seriousness, the fact that he went there first, the fact that he is
That's
drawing
because
more
I'm still-
attention to it than and Pete Buttigieg couldn't even be bothered to answer a reporter's question.
If I may, I'm
You
talking
may.
here.
Whatever.
Listen, Sleepy Joe and Mayo Pete, they're terrible people. They don't care about the people of East Palestine. You know why they don't care about them? Because they all voted for me. They voted for the Donald, and they think because I'm making America great again, they're just jealous people. They're really terrible, and they allow these innocent, hardworking, great Americans to suffer mightily from this ecological disaster.
They're blaming you for the lax regulations, yet ironically they didn't reinstall anything in there. So
when I do deregulation, it's only good deregulation. Bad deregulation is how you get trains falling off the tracks, terrible chemicals getting into the environment, really dangerous, really bad. And believe me when I tell you.
So how would you have handled the railroad workers union when they were trying to strike? How would you have handled that? Would you have just said, yes, you guys fight over one sick day. Let us drain you for 14 hours straight, hours of a shift and not give you any sort of time off?
I get the feeling you think I don't care about the workers.
No, I know you don't care about the workers.
Care. No, the workers are really great people, and I totally would have agreed to at least a half day off. They would have gotten a half day off. That's a lot more than no days off. Believe me, they would have appreciated it, and everyone can use a half sick day every once in a while. I take them all the time, but then again, I make the rules.
Thoughts on Pete Buttigieg?
You don't really want to know my thoughts on little Pete.
No, I am. I'm very interested in your thoughts on Mayo Pete.
He unfortunately is just as incompetent as Hunter Biden and any other nepotistic child who's ever been put in a position of power that had no business being there in the first place. You know anybody like that? Not anybody on my side. I don't know anybody. All the people I pick are great. And they're really great, incredible people. But unfortunately,
you're the parent to Beavis and Butthead.
Excuse me. Don't insult my wonderful family like that. The Democrats.
I feel bad for Barron.
The Democrats are really terrible. They're allowing this country to completely destroy itself. It's hard to watch.
That's not what's destroying the country.
No, that's totally what's happening. And we're going to continue to spread our wonderful message. We totally won in 20. We're going to win again in 24 and legitimately get ourselves back into the White House and make America great again.
Again.
Great to see you all.
Yeah. In all seriousness, what's killing the world, not just this country, really, is capitalism plus greed. It's imploding. And the idea that we live in a place where, to me, the function of our government, of what is, and when I say government, I mean the body that we put together to represent us as a collective, to be able to act on our behalf for the betterment of our people. Okay. That group of people is there to protect us from certain industries and certain businesses that are destroying us for their profits. That's the whole purpose. So the idea to have less regulation is absurd when it comes to these matters. It's just absurd. That is the sole purpose. The fact that DeWine is pointing the finger at Joe, and Joe is pointing the finger at DeWine, and Pete won't even answer reporters' questions. All right. I will give a shout out to, please, I'm like,
look, I just got back, man. Greatest crisis ever faced in American history. Can you believe what's going on, Jen?
No, and I just lost my train of thought. Thank you.
Oh, I lose my train of thought all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Oh, I just came back.
What I was going to say, actually, is that...
you go ahead.
So apparently, Crystal Ball put out a tweet about that there is a clause in Obamacare that when certain areas are declared, I don't know exactly what the declaration is, like disaster zone or whatever it is, then the people in that area can get Medicare. And that the people of East Palestine should be having that. And you know what? That's really annoying, Peter. It's rude. And so I think that that's a really smart idea. So kudos to Crystal for pointing that out. And so, guys, honestly, that's something that I've been thinking about, like places like this, because I don't think there is necessarily going to be a safe time when these people can go back there. There are places that we have to look at as basically permanently uninhabitable for the foreseeable future, because we don't need people to be living and growing food and raising animals and having their systems and infrastructure in contaminated areas. And those people, yes, should automatically be given healthcare. But of course, I think all of us should have healthcare anyway. But that aside, there needs to be some form of reparations for these people to be made whole when they cannot live where they're living, and they need to be, like, you know, offered compensation for that loss. Now, whether that's they want to be bought out of their space, whatever it is, I don't know. But these people need to be compensated for being poisoned, and their land needs to be, like, shut down and not habitated on if it is not safe. That's my thoughts.
Come on, man, you're asking for way too much. And our government is just not capable of taking care of people individually. I don't understand. We've got lots to worry about with Ukraine. We got lots to worry about with, I don't know. What did they tell me today is the most important thing? It's certainly not East Palestine or whatever they call it. They're not a priority. They're not voters, for me anyway. We have to prioritize. We got to make it. We got to do what we got to do, man. We'll send Pete over there. He'll go talk to them. That'll solve the problem, right? I don't know. Bedtime. Sorry, you don't particularly care for the
I just think it's rude when I'm in the middle of
I
talking
wasn't
and
trying
you
to
do
be
that. I know.
rude.
No one said you were trying. It
I
just
was
happened.
in the middle of a bit.
Oh, okay.
But I stopped and I let you say.
Thank you. While you were sitting there with a Biden mask on your face.
Just trying to have a little fun.
Okay.
So anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed. We will be back on Monday, but on Sunday night, we are going to be guest hosts on Do Dissidents. So that will hopefully attract more people to our channel. That'll be pretty big. I mean, they get a lot of live viewers, sometimes in the several hundreds, even thousands, which would be wonderful. Get some more people to subscribe to our show, and maybe we'll have more than 15 people watching at a time.
It could happen.
Yeah, maybe we just need to be a little bit more creative. We should have just said hi panel or something. I don't know. But anyway, we're obviously very appreciative of each and every one of you that are here. And for those of you that are here, remember, patreon.com/generational change. For as little as $5 a month, you can support our wonderful small but mighty podcast, as we are trying to transform politics into service, even though we fight like brother and sister constantly. But I hope you do enjoy our banter. And if you do, please go and make a subscription contribution. If you are more inclined to be a little bit more generous.
Actually, the people are getting the Lulu sticker for $5.
Lulu sticker comes for the $5, but also the Lulu and Parliamentarian sticker you will get if you are a $10 contributor to our wonderful Patreon channel. But if you are so generous as to be a $25 a month patron, you can get the Tri-Blend wonderful, silky smooth baseball jersey generational change shirt. You know you would love to have one. You know you would love to support our show. But if you are not feeling like going to the length of putting your credit card on file with us, you can be a little generous by just going to Cash App, which equals $GenChange.
Big Dumb Animal got your Lulu. Now I have to wonder who you are. Big Dumb Animal. Now I have to wonder who that is. I have to kind of figure that out.
Yeah. So any contribution obviously is.
Yeah, I was waiting on, I had to reorder stickers. That's why some of those things like recently just went out.
So with that said, smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that we ask. And we hope that you will tune in to Do Dissonance on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will be guest hosting with Keaton Weiss. And of course, we will be back on Monday, perhaps with Mr. Grumbine, but we'll certainly be here with somebody fun. And we hope to see you then.
Bye all.